All right? Okay, alhamdulillah. Video is a bit slow. Yeah. Okay, wait, I'm going to see if I close that. Those. And what about this here? Is that any better? Oh, okay. Okay, so maybe you can fix the bandwidth, admin, because if you fix the bandwidth, it'll fix my slowness or my whateverness. I don't know how to do that. Maybe I do. Anyway, okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Salatu salam ala khatul anbiya Sayyid Muhammad wa ala alihi ashabi ajma'in. We are in the first day of the 10 days of this sacred month, Dhul Hijjah. And our talk today is called The Path of the Prophets. And really, it's a very beautiful title because these are days that our Anbiya, the prophets who came before, found blessings within. So the first thing that I want to talk about today is I just want us to really know and understand the importance of these days, all of them. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran swears by these 10 days. وَالْفَجْرِ وَلَيَالٍ عَشْرٍ. So many of you probably know that surah. It's in Juz Amma, Surah Al-Fajr, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَالْفَجْرِ وَلَيَالٍ عَشْرٍ. So he's swearing by these 10 days. And what this does, it does a number of things. One of the things it does is it really underlines for us the importance of these days. It's the beginning of underlining the importance of these days. And subhanAllah, we have Ibn Abbas radiallahu anh, tells us that in these days there were blessings for many of the prophets who came before. It said that that Adam, his tawbah was accepted in this in these beautiful days, and Ibrahim became Khalil Allah, became the intimate friend, Khalil, the Khalil of God in these days. That Musa was blessed with prophethood in these days. So these are days of great blessing. These are days where, and Dawood's tawbah was accepted in these days. So these are days of spiritual elevation. That's what we see in the prophets that came before. And if we're going to call our lecture today, or our talk today, or our sharing today, The Path of the Prophets, and we think about these days, we have to be thinking about these days as days of spiritual elevation. Our sisters and brothers have left to Hajj. Alhamdulillah. And they have gone to the Kaaba to make dua for us. I'm sure many of your friends asked you, what dua would you like me to make for you? Some of them have gone to visit the Prophet ﷺ to give him salam for you, especially if they asked you and you gave them that direction. And while they are there at Hajj, we are here. And Islam is a place, is a religion where we have blessed days and blessed time and blessed space. And Hajj is a joining together of both, blessed time and blessed space. For those who go on Hajj, they are benefiting from both. And if you have never been on Hajj today, I would like you with me to, even if you've never been, even if you don't have the money for it, even if you don't see any possibility of you going, I would like you right now with me to make the intention of going. Oh Allah, I intend to go on Hajj this year, or next year, or the first year that I possibly can. It's very important to have that intention because it is a pillar of our faith. we have 5 pillars. Those pillars, Islam is made of these 5 things to begin with and nothing else. Prayer, fasting, well, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, prayer, fasting, zakat, and Hajj. So even if you don't have a bank account that would allow you to go to Hajj, even if you're saying to yourself, how can I go? I don't have a mahram, I'm a convert, I don't have anyone who can go with me, and Saudi Arabia won't allow. I don't have this. It's up to you to make the intention. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help with the rest of it. If you're saving money, save money for Hajj. And work for this Hajj. Allah iftah alayna. So that's number 1. So we want to make sure that we have the intention. But here we are. I'm going to assume that most of us who are attending this live stream today are not pilgrims at Hajj, but we're pilgrims at home. Because otherwise you'll probably be on an airplane or already headed off to Hajj. So as you are here, we have to think about what is it? What are we going to do in these days? And what have we learned from our early scholars about the importance of these days? And there is a qawl or a saying of early scholars. And this is not a hadith. I want to be very clear. Okay, this is not a hadith. This is just it's a saying of early scholars. But I'll tell you something. These are people of experience, right? They're sharing with us what their life experience and the experience of their teachers before has brought them. And they said that the blessing of these 10 days, the sacredness of these 10 days, don't forget that the entire month is a sacred month. It's in a collection of 3 sacred months. Entire month is a sacred month. And the blessing of these 10 days is so great, and they call on us to do good deeds because of the blessing of these days. And that if we increase our good deeds and we really pay attention and really give it our all, so to speak, in these 10 days, that we will have numerous blessings. And they say that our blessings will include blessing in our life, so that our life will be blessed in how we fill it. Increase in wealth, protection of our families, forgiveness of sins, increase in good deeds, ease in the throes of death, the heaviness of our scale, and lifting from one spiritual level to another. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy will fall on us and we will grow spiritually. That's a lot. That's a lot. It's a lot of blessing to have in these 10 days. And subhanAllah, it's only 10 days. I'm just it's only 10 days. Like, we can, if you think about it, you can almost do anything for 10 days. Remember when you were in college, maybe you were still in college, and you had finals, and like for 10 days, you spent time, you could sleep and eat and just quickly do that and then be back to studying. And your studying would be continuous and all of this, and you could do that because you knew that it's just a short period of time, and then you would come back to studying to normal life later. And so if you think about these 10 days as sort of a final exam period for the year, right? Here's our year is ending. We're in the very end of our year. We'll have a brand new year after this month, and those of you who are in the Joy Jats Book Club, you know that we're counting down to the last week, so we're in week 47 this week. So we're almost done with the year. So if you think of these 10 days as sort of our final exam period, and you can say, I'm going to do as many good deeds as I can in these days. I'm going to really put effort into these days to do everything I can. And many of you, I hope, have joined the Pilgrims at Home game. Now, we developed the Pilgrims at Home game in order to help everyone who is not invited to Hajj enjoy and participate and benefit from these days of Hajj. It is a worship game. There are many good deeds that we can do in these 10 days. There are good deeds of being good to other people. There are good deeds of generosity and charity. There are good deeds of visiting the sick. There are good deeds of just being plain old kind. The game is filled with good deeds of worship. And I call on everyone who's playing the game to make sure that while you are worshiping, you are being good to the people around you. So that while you're reading Quran, people don't remember you as cranky because you're reading Quran, but remember you as more joyful because you're reading Quran, praying extra prayers. The Pilgrims at Home game was developed in, it's probably 9 years ago now, maybe 7. While I was still living in Syria, it was an Olympic year, and I had a brand new, fresh group of students, and it was a brainstorming session, and it was a way to take advantage of these days, while at the same time getting some practice in worship. And subhanAllah, the game has a schedule, and the schedule is there's a lot of thought that goes into the worship schedule. And this is our 10 days where Sunnah is really important. There's a lot of extra reward for Sunnah. And the worship schedule is filled with Sunnahs that you can do. You may not keep up, you probably won't keep up that schedule outside of the 10 days. But if you can do it in these 10 days, you will learn a few things. One is you will learn how much you can do. So if we are talking about the path of the prophets, we're talking about the blessed time when Ibrahim became Khalilullah. The blessed time when Musa took on the job of prophethood. The blessed days of Tawbah. Then we know that these are days that can turn our life around. Make no mistake. If you put real effort into these days, you can find yourself changed. You'll find yourself changed. Now, some people have come to me and said, well, we shouldn't compete in matters of ibadah. And I say to them, why not? As-sabiqun, as-sabiqun. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes 3 groups of people in Surah Al-Waqi'ah. One are the Ashab al-Yamin, the people of the right hand. The other, Ashab al-Shimal, people of the left hand. What does that mean? Those who receive their books in their right hand and those who receive their books in their left hand. We want to be of those who receive our book in our right hand, our book of deeds. But there's a third group that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes who are the Sabiqun, the Qareeb. Who are these people? These are the people who are qalilun min al-akhirin. They are very, very few in the later times. So we want to be of the few. We want to be of these very few people. Sari'u ila maghfiratin. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says in Ali Imran, rush to the forgiveness of your Lord. So hurrying up and rushing, these are not foreign concepts. It's not, sometimes I think we get influenced by things that we read and things that we see that are sometimes very good, but we want to be careful that we're always holding on to Islamic concepts. And while ibadah is a beautiful thing and we want khushu' and we want all of these things, it doesn't mean that we don't want to push ourselves in it and just do our very, very best. Sometimes. And these are 10 beautiful days to do that in. The link is there for how you join and for more information about the game. And for those of you who already have teams, I want to say this too. It's not, while we do award the winners every year with trophies and we look for those winners and we have fun with the winners, it's about staying in the game. Don't quit. Don't quit. Don't drop out of your team. Work together with your team. Let your team be a team together, even if you're not doing well. See, when you say to yourself, I don't want to be a bad team member, so I'm going to drop out, think about the ummah. Someone said to me the other day, she was struggling with some ways that people in the ummah act, lies, and she said, I can't handle this. And it broke my heart, because what would the Prophet ﷺ say? If you look to his ummah, and instead of having the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam being the best example of what is good, sometimes people are pushed away from our poor behavior. We have to learn how to be there for the ummah, even when we're having a bad day. And practice on this team will help you be there for your family, be there for your community, be there for the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam when always, whether you feel needed or not, you're needed. So stick to your team. We've had people leave because they missed a fard prayer. In the game, missing a fard prayer means losing 50 points. You say, wow, that's a lot. We go back and we think about what it means to us to lose a prayer in the day between us and Allah. It's a lot more than those 50 points. What are we doing to make it up? Sometimes people are struggling with aqidah issues just because they've left the prayer, so their heart became open to shaitan. During the game, we have both a schedule for those who are praying and those who are menstruating. A few weeks ago, there was a whole thing on Facebook about how Muslim women, something about how we shame one another about menstruation. So I can talk about it. We can talk. Let's say the word menstruation. And there's never a day when we are not worshiping, whether we are menstruating or we are not menstruating, whether we have postpartum bleeding or not. We are always in worship. And so the Pilgrims at Home game helps us to learn that because there's an alternative schedule and a prayer schedule. So we learn that it doesn't matter. In fact, the menstruation, when a woman is menstruating, there's a great argument that he said that there's more, you have a spiritual self there, a sensitive spiritual self. So it's a time for great dhikr and dua. And in the Pilgrims at Home game, you have that opportunity to get practice in that. These are blessed days. Fill them with the work of one who is a worshiper. The days that we have first, now it started today, and then Arafat will be next Monday. Now the day of Arafat is a very important day. If you are on Hajj, that is the day that makes your Hajj count or not. So if you go to Hajj and you miss Arafat, you don't have a Hajj. I once heard of someone who went to Hajj. They left and they were there, but they couldn't get to Arafah. They couldn't get to the place that they have to stand in time, and so they missed their whole Hajj. Imagine. They were there, they did all the other rites. You can't make up for the day of Arafah. The day of Arafah is so important that if you're on your Hajj, you can't make up for it. It's, khalas, that's it. And so while we're here, we want to be spending that day in great worship. And during these 10 days, we will have extra live streams. We'll have 3 of them total. One is now and one is in the middle to sort of boost you up. We'll talk more about Day of Arafah then. And then the last live stream will be the live stream that gives the results of the game. This is a game, we are working on an app. Our app is not quite ready yet, but inshallah, we're testing it out this year, and hopefully by next year, we'll have an app for this game. But I call on you to use good old-fashioned pencil and paper this year. Get yourself a team or sign up. I'm telling you, this is the game of your life. It will change you. And I would like to, do I have this? Can I go over the game a little bit with them? And do we have the worship schedule? I'd like to show the worship schedule and talk about the madness that is my brain. The Prophet ﷺ told us that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in a hadith Qudsi, so this means that it's from Allah, from God, that we come closer to Him first through our fard, and then through our sunnah, and our extra. And so the more extra we do, we eventually become Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala becomes the eyes with which we see with, the ears with which we hear with. This is a hadith that talks about how we gain divine light and divine connection. And so this program, if you look at the sheet, it's very hard to see here how it is. You can click on that little square thing above it that looks kind of like this, and it'll become full screen for you. And I'll show you what it is. Now, I would like you to notice, for example, if you look at the Farad, Fajr, look at Fajr. It says 2S. So those are the 2 sunnahs. So there's 1 point for the 2 sunnahs. Praying the Farad, 1 point for that. At start. So that means if you pray within the first 15 minutes, you get an extra point. And I'm telling you, that changes lives when you start to do that for 10 days. If you do your best in these 10 days to make every prayer within the first 15 minutes, everything will change. Everything will change. You'll start thinking, when am I making wudu? Every time I use the bathroom, I'm going to have wudu, so I can, bam, jump up and pray when I need to. Praying the sunnah. If you're not in the habit of the sunnah, it's going to give you that habit. And your heart will soften with the sunnah prayers. You can get a team together right now. It's okay if you missed a little bit. Oops, I clicked on the wrong thing here. There we go. Another example about this schedule. If we go to the early part of it, oops, went the wrong way. You see that tahajjud is divided up into 4 parts. When you get up and you pray 2 rak'ahs of tahajjud, just 2, you get 5 points because there's great blessing in tahajjud. And I want you to taste that. If you do salat al-tasabih, 10 points. Salat al-hajjah, the prayer of need, 10 points. Qada yawm is only 5, even though it's 20 rak'ahs for qada yawm. And why is that? Because we're encouraging you to get new practices. We know you know how to pray qada. But practicing Salat al-Tasabih, practicing Salat al-Hajj during these days will really give you a new practice of your life. And I really want to encourage you, Salat al-Hajj, your prayer for need, you have needs. Ask Allah for them. Stand up at night and say, Ya Allah, and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for them. All the details of these prayers are in the game manual, and you'll be able to see that. And then we have your Quran reading, An'am, Baqarah, some adhkar, and things like that. And I just want to go here. And of course, as well, we have your duha and awabin. Every single prayer has an at start. Now let's look down for the menstruating women. It's called the alternative score sheet. So here, we do 5 points for each 15 minutes of istighfar and a 10-point bonus for doing a full hour. And you do it sitting facing the qibla. SubhanAllah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, He talks about tahajjud, talks about those who are mustaghfireen bil ashar, those who seek forgiveness from Allah in that early morning time. So you become of them when you take on this schedule. Now, we've been doing this for about 7 years. And every year we get questions about this. And I'm here to tell you that this is a game, okay? It's a game. It's a game. None of us are making any claims that this is the only way to do ibadah, or it's the only way to do tahajjud, or it's the only way to do adhkar, or that there's no other. That's not what we're saying here. Oops, excuse me 1 minute. I gotta plug in. Okay, there we go. That's not what we're saying here. We're saying that we have brought this together to help you walk on the path of prophets. To help you walk on the path of prophets, to become of the mustaghfirina bil ashar. To become of the dhakirat ismuka kathiran. In Surah Al-Ahzab, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes 10 qualities of the believers, 10 qualities of men and women, al-muslimin wal-muslimat wal-mu'minin wal-mu'minat. The last one there, the one that shores up them all, is dhakirin Allah. Dhakirin and dhakirat. Dhakirin ismuka kathiran. Dhakirat. We want to be of those who remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a lot. And that's what happens at the score sheet. That's what happens. And you'll find your life will change. And I'm not saying, and others have told me, oh, well, we shouldn't have to tell people how we're doing. And here's my answer to that. If you don't want to tell people how you're doing because you're doing well, what about the day when you miss something? Tell them then too. Work together. Let's learn as an ummah how to work together. As as a team, to help each other, to support one another. Do you have a team member who's not doing well? We had a team member in a team that was doing very, very well. One of the team members missed a prayer. That's 50 pounds lost. 50 pounds, I'm sorry. 50 points. 50 points lost. So the whole team came together to support her and to help her and to find ways, because we have different ways to make up points, and encourage her to read a second Baqarah that day, because that's what makes up those 50 points. We need to learn how to be team players as an ummah. Now, this is a game. We are all women who are playing this game. But if you have your local mosque, if you have the men in your life want to play, they can make a team. They just don't compete against us in this particular game. But they can make a team and compete against you. Let's let the whole ummah, those who are not on Hajj, join together and be pilgrims at home in these 10 days. And gain the beautiful things that our early ulama told us that we will gain. Blessing in our lives. Increase in our wealth. Forgiveness of sin. Come to these days asking for these blessings and these things. And trust that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give them to you. Trust in the blessing, trust in the generosity of your Lord. He is the most generous of any who are generous. Are you struggling? If you are struggling with anything in your faith, take these 10 days and go to Allah with extra worship and dua. Ya Allah, calm my heart. Calm the heart of my dearest people. Bring them back to you. Let them know you. Let them follow in the footsteps of Ibrahim and come closer to you in this month. Let them follow in the footsteps of Adam. Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, who in these beautiful 10 days, at different times and different things of course, but when he went on his final Hajj, it was on the day of Arafah that the very last verse of the Quran was revealed. Ya Allah, these days. These are the days where we begin and where we end. These are the days that we turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we ask that our shortcomings and our ghafla, our heedlessness, is taken away and replaced with our dhikr, our remembrance, and our good deeds. Many people ask me, oh Anse, I think you should have on this score sheet good deeds like visiting the sick and all of this. Really, to be honest with you, this score sheet by itself is difficult enough to fill in. But I encourage you to fill your days with the good deeds of visiting the sick, with the good deeds of visiting the sick, of visiting the poor, of helping the poor, of giving sadaqah. Give sadaqah in these days. Take care of your family in these days. Be good and kind. Don't yell at anyone. SubhanAllah, in the days of Ramadan, all those good deeds are happening and you don't have any shaitan around. Now in these 10 days, you are fighting your shaitan and you are honing and toning your nafs. That's part of what the game is about. Honing and toning that nafs. Shaitan comes to you and whispers to you all sorts of things. Shaitan, we want to just learn how to stop listening to. We just want to just be enough. On our Growing Hope tour now, when we were coming back in the van, we had a 12-hour drive on the last day. And we were talking about shaitan. And I said to somebody in the van, you just have to tell your shaitan to go away. Just call him Jack and sing him the song. Hit the road, Jack. Don't come back no more, hit the road, Jack. And that's what you need to do with your shaitan. Send him on the road. Enough. We don't want him. And these 10 days will help with that. Because shaitan, every time we build a fence around ourselves, so if this is me, okay, and the first fence I build around myself is the farad prayer. And then around that, I build the sunnah prayer. And around that, I build extra nawafil and charity and fasting. All these things I build, I protect myself from shaitan. What am I left with? Just my nafs. And my nafs is something that I need to hone and tone, just like my body. Don't we need to exercise and eat right for our body? Same thing for our nafs. We need to exercise our nafs and teach it to do good deeds. Even when it's hard and it's uncomfortable, we have to practice the good deeds. So just like it's not easy to do sit-ups, or it's not easy to lift weights the first time, once you start doing it, it becomes easier. Do good deeds. Visit the sick. Take care of your community. Visit the elderly. Bring them what they need. Know what they need. Talk to people. Do all of that in these days more than you've ever done it before. No, it's not on the game card, but that's okay. You can still do it. The game card is a worship card. And you're doing that because you know that honing and toning and strengthening the heart muscle of worship will help you to say, hit the road, Jack. And help you to hone and tone that nafs. So when we come out of these 10 days, we come out changed. We come out on the path of the prophets. On the beautiful path of the prophets, so that we can draw near to their closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Think about that. Think about the closeness of Isa, of Jesus, when he was curing the sick. Our ummah is sick, and we need people ready to cure it. Think about the closeness of Musa alayhi salam to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When he was called to go up to Pharaoh and speak truth to power. No, he asked for a friend and a helper. Learn how to work in a team like Musa and Harun, so that we can speak truth to power and make serious changes in our very mosques, and let our mosques begin to reflect prophetic narrative and a prophetic lifestyle. In these days, imagine the closeness of Ibrahim to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who, when he was thrown into fire, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told the fire to be cool, Ibrahim. Cool for Ibrahim. That our trials won't burn us, but will be cool for us as we walk on the path of those who went before. That our trials, we won't be burned by them, but they will be cooled for us by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what it means to walk on the path of the prophets. It means to follow them, to understand who they were. They were human beings first, and prophets second. They had feelings and emotions. They tired. We look at Nabi Yunus. They tired. And they felt success. Look at Nabi Yusuf. And felt the blessing of it. Let us walk on this path in these 10 days. I call on all of you. Walk on the path of good deeds and walk on the path of worship. The card is a worship card. It doesn't prevent you from doing other good deeds. Those are the good deeds you can keep between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These worship cards is between you and your team. As you help each other get close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As you help each other grow. As you help each other overcome bad habits. Help each other overcome the dead heart that finds itself, because of its distance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, dulled. And on this day of worship, on the alternative score sheet, it's all sorts of dhikr Allah. And subhanAllah, the menstruating woman, who is a praying woman, is rewarded during her days of menstruation as though she was praying. So if you are a person who prays tahajjud and you pray your fard prayers and you fast on Mondays and Thursdays, on the days you're menstruating, it's as though you're doing that worship anyway. And so when you come with a heart of dhikr Allah and you don't let yourself be a person who is bil ghafla, in heedlessness, but you add to the reward for those things, you add to it a tongue and a heart that remembers Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will move forward on this path. You will. There are things that are from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you come to the prayer schedule, doing your best, struggling when you fall down, you will grow and you will become better. You will be a better prayer. You will be praying. You will be a better praying person than you are now. The days of Hajj are blessed days. They are days that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swore by. They are days that within them are blessings of good deeds and the reward of good deeds. There are various sayings about the importance of fasting, the importance of good deeds, regular good deeds, importance of worship. And there are some ikhtilaf, difference of opinion about some of those hadith. But what matters is that we recognize that these are 10 blessed days. And we are in them now, on this glorious Sunday. So let's walk on the path of worship and walk on the path of teamwork. You can register your team if you don't have one already at the link in the chat box. And if you want, you can register just yourself and you'll be placed with a team. I really encourage you not to drop out. Don't leave your team in the lurch. Be someone who sticks to it. Stick to it in these 10 days so you can know you will stick to it for your life. You will stick to this faith and the practice of this faith. Hold on to these 10 days and the good deeds in these 10 days. Pray your prayers at the beginning of the time as much as you can. Read extra Quran. Although we've had miracles happening in these 10 days. Amazing, amazing, amazing scores. And we've also had people who really learned about themselves. I remember one of my closer students, she had a really nice ibadah schedule. She said to me, Anse, after the first day, I expected easily I'm going to get above 90. And I did my normal stuff and I was only at 60 something. And I said to myself, I said to myself, Ya Allah, I thought I was doing really well. And it turns out my ibadah is much less than I thought. So there's going to be self-discovery on this road. You're going to discover when it's hard for you and when it's easy for you. You're going to discover how well you can read the Quran, how easily your tongue moves to dhikr Allah. And while you're on this road, if you are at work, you are anywhere else, make your intention that what you are there doing and learning is for Allah. So that is a blessed deed as well. Walk on the path of the prophets with me. Let us walk the path of worship and good deeds, path of belief in Tawheed, the path of positive cultural change. Alright, I'll take questions now because I see I have a couple of them already in there. Okay, Mediha, I have a question about the camp. It is about Eid Day. Okay, go ahead and ask the question. For reading Surah Al-Baqarah, etc., does it count if we listen to it? I'm an extremely slow Arabic reader. No, you can listen to it and read while you listen to it, or listen to it with someone else, or read with someone else, or do something else to make it faster. But just listening, I don't believe counts. Thank you, Maryam. Allah iftah alayna, inshallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala open these days for you, for all of us, and bless us in them. And bless us with this ibadah. And I hope you have great teams and you're all ready to play. Woo-hoo! Don't drop out on your team. Let's move forward. It's about our being present during the sacrifice. The sacrifice can be made any of the days of Eid. Any of the days. And next, we'll talk some more about the importance of that in our next meeting when we meet up next. Okay? And who do we give the scorecard to? So you will have a team. The leader, your team leader, will collect your points and send them in to our admin staff, who will then collect all the points of all the teams and bring them together. We don't have a minimum age to join, but before you tell your 9-year-old or something to do that, it should you should really take a look at the schedule. And we don't have a separate game for youth, so it's all just the one game. We will send a form closer to midway scores when we need you to give us the midway scores. Okay. No minimum age, but just don't add your daughter and then have her be like, that was too much for me. She should really know what she's getting into. Any other questions? How many people per team? 5 people per team. One of those 5 is the team leader. It is a present when someone else gives sacrifice, we give the money for our sacrifice. Yes, so in the game, there are 50 extra points for witnessing the sacrifice. If you don't do it, you don't do it. That's fine. You just don't get those 50 extra points. Okay, I have some announcements I'm being told. Here's announcement number 1. Oh, it's so teeny tiny. Alima, I'm not sure. Actually, maybe they changed the rules on me, huh? Okay, so Rabat's academic program. Oh, okay, you don't have to witness it? All right, well, it just got easier. I don't know, is that true? Game team? Let me know. Rabat academic program. Fall registration is opened. Woohoo! And we have some amazing classes for you. If you have been finishing with level 1 and level 2, level 3 Sierra is open now with Anse Tamara, scholar of our time who speaks English. I will say that. MashaAllah. Just a reminder, the points are indicative for some people in various services. That's true, Rasha, and that's how we support each other and recognize the good that everyone is doing. That's right. Yes, so we're checking that out, and then we'll see what about that. But definitely sign up for classes. I will be teaching companions this year. I was not going to be teaching at all, but then I decided I have to do something because that's my dissertation year. But I'm going to be teaching companions, and I have all sorts of new learning strategies that I'm coming forth with so that I can do in my class. It's going to be brand new. Even if you've taken companions before, you're still going to like it again if you want to take it again. And we now have an auditing option, so if you're kind of afraid of tests and papers, you can click the auditing button. But if you want to be the one who's going to get a certificate, you need to take the actual class. The classes are online, but they're going to feel like I'm right there in your living room, or they're going to feel like all the teachers are right there in your living room. And registration is open now, so just go check out the link and you can read about it. Okay, it's going to be the funnest in the world. You can't even imagine. It's going to be so much fun. I'm so excited. Actually, I'm right now in Kuwait. I'm taking a special workshop called Kagan Strategies, Cooperative Learning Strategies, and I'm doing it for the school I'm helping. But the whole time, like, what am I going to do for Rabat? What am I going to do for Rabat? Oh my gosh, I can do this for this class. Oh my goodness. Ooh, I can do this. Ooh, I can do that. And I'm getting so excited because I'm ready to bring in cooperative learning strategies to online learning. Woo-hoo! Yes, okay, and just as a footnote, it is 50 points if you do your dabah, you do your sacrifice, and another 50 if you actually witness it this year. So Alima is the same this year. And poor company can declare really if you like the answer in your league. Yes, absolutely. Okay, and just a reminder that the right legacy is coming up. An unpredictable journey. We are going to have our literary conference in Toronto this year at the University of Toronto. Yes, I'm teaching Companions Part 1. Super excited about it. I also highly recommend every other class we give And don't forget Arabic and Quran. Come out in October to Toronto. We want to see you. If you are anywhere in the region or even close by, drive up. It's going to be a wonderful conference. It's a very beautiful conference about writing and publishing and all of that. So you're going to really enjoy that. I can't wait to see you for that. And also, we've got, this is so tiny. Can you make that bigger, please, admin? Canada. And here we have Meet the Authors at ISNA. So we're going to, the three of us, me and Dr. Sadia and the three of, are we meeting the author, me? I know I'm there, but am I actually there as an author? I'm all confused. I didn't even know that. So that's super exciting. So you're going to come out and meet our authors at ISNA. ISNA is in Houston this year. I'm so excited to see you in Houston. If you look at their poster this year, they have almost 50% women speakers and 50% male speakers. MashaAllah, ISNA. Snaps for ISNA. Okay? And also our book, An Acquaintance, of which Sabah, which is right there in the picture, is the author of, just received an award for, even though it's a super Muslimi book, received an award from the International Book Award. So come on down. So excited about that. And I'm so excited to see you all in Houston. I'm so excited to see you all in Toronto. That's the next couple months. And also Malaysia and Singapore. I will be there in the end of September. It is a super traveling fall where I get to meet you all and talk to you and learn about you and learn from each other. So I'm so happy and excited to see you all very soon. Excited about Pilgrims at Home game. This is one of my favorite times of the year when all of you come together and you build teams and I want every one of these teams with all the support and help you give one another to spread out together and be like the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, where we all become of the mustaghfirina bil ashar. We all become the people who pray tahajjud. We all become of the people who remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We all become the people who read the Quran on a daily basis. We all become of the people that the Prophet, if he met us, he would recognize his ummah. Because right now, if you go around the world, you're going to find a lot of Muslims, but not a lot of people that the Prophet would recognize as his ummah. Because we have Muslims who do all sorts of crazy things, and especially as regards women. So let us as women rise up from our beds and pray. Let us rise up from our chairs and read Quran. Let us rise up from our beds and remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we rise up, if we women together rise up with this kind of ibadah, and we come together and really worship and really ask and really turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, things will turn around. We will learn how to turn everything on its ear, so that pretty soon our mosques become friendly, not just to men, but to women as well. Our mosques become places we want to bring our children. Our mosques will become clean and beautiful, friendly, inviting, welcoming places. Our Muslim people will stop lying. Muslim people will stop cheating. Muslim people will stop doing all the crazy things that they're doing. And we will bring forth a beautiful ethic. But it won't happen without worship. It won't happen without clinging to this faith. Make no mistake. Make no mistake. We have people leaving our religion because our own adab and our own actions are not pleasing to them. They find outside people with better adab, a better akhlaq. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not accept of Muslims that we look for akhlaq and we look for adab outside of this connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So play the game, get a team, play the game, stand up and be of those who worship. Stand up and be of those who do good deeds in these 10 days, and ask Allah every night, ask for yourself, ask for your family, ask for the ummah. Allahumma ahdina wa ahdi bina al-ibad al-bilad. Ask for everyone. Ask for everyone. Allahumma salli wa sallim barik ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Okay, Ragad, if we have books like to propose to add to Daybreak, how can we do that, please? Just go ahead and email daybreak@rabata.org. daybreak@rabata.org. All right. Well, that's that. Allah iftah alaykum. May Allah open doors for you all, make it easier for you. I'm going to be looking at the teams, and I'm so excited to see your team. I saw some great team names in there. Sisters Rising Up and Noor and all sorts of great, amazing names. I'm so excited to see your teams, and I'm so excited to just feel the vibrations on the earth as we women become women of worship, become women of faith, become women of good deeds. Because if only one of us can make a difference, imagine the difference that 100 of us will make. Imagine the difference 1,000 of us will make. Ya Allah, imagine the difference 10,000 of us will make. Wallahi, the globe will go flip with our worship and our ibadah and our prayers.